Hi, thank you for joining us with Aunties Sewing Kits. I'm Donna DeMarco and my husband Dan is behind the camera. We are working on block 8 of the month for Solare Block of the month, and it's the fabric's done by Banyan Batiks. It came out beautifully, but it is a block that we've done before. We did it in block 4. So I'm not going to go into great detail because I did it on that one. So if you need a little bit more detail, go revisit block 4. But we'll get started and I'll go through how to put it on there. I just won't do it in great detail like I did last time. Okay, well let's see what we made here. So this is block 8. It's fairly easy. It's a lot of little cuttings to do, but nothing too terrible, and we've done it before in block 4. So to make this one, I'm just going to set it here. We are going to take all these little teeny pieces. Now with these little teeny pieces, especially on fabric 16, what I did is you got all these little triangles, so I put how big the block was to begin with on here, and then I cut it in half, but that way I know that's this one because this one's different, but look how close they are in size. So I marked it so I can keep that separate, and then the other one's a square, so it doesn't really matter, but I still marked it. And we are going to sew all this together. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to sew these we're going to take the longer strips that we made with fabric 13, and we're going to sew the little triangle on here, and it'll tell you which one to sew on there, what size. And we're going to sew all of those because we actually have 12 blocks, so we're doing 12 of these. So we're going to sew all those on there. And then I know it's a little bit more difficult, but still, if you go to the dark side, it's going to be easier when you put it all together. It will kind of nest. Then what we're going to do is we're going to sew all of these triangles on this one, but this one's going to go this way to where when we did this one, it went that way. So be mindful of that. Then once we get that sewed on, we are going to sew these blocks together. So we've got the little blocks, and then we've got the other little blocks. I sewed them together. Of course, I did it to the dark side. And when you do it to the dark side, again, it's all going to nest together better when you're doing it. There isn't too many things that nest, but there's a couple, and it just makes it easier. Then I sewed all of these on, and again, went to the dark side. So I got those done. Then we did 2 of them. So we've got 2 that we did, again to the dark side. And then we have the little triangle. So with this, we're going to take one of these that we did, and we're going to take one of these, and we're going to sew that together. And once we got that sewed together, it's better to go ahead and press it before you do the next one. You can do them all, but pressing takes a little bit harder, and it's really easy to chain these, and we're doing so many of them. Then we're going to take this one, and we're going to sew it onto there, and then we're going to take this little triangle and we're going to put it onto there. So we're going to have this piece. So that piece is now transformed into this piece. So this is the piece we have now, which is also this little piece right here. So we got that piece done. Then what we're going to do is on this one, we're going to take the longer strip that we did, and we are going to put that on here, and we're going to sew that one down, which will be like that. And then we'll take one of these strips here of fabric 2, and we're going to sew it on here. You want to even it out because when it flips over, you want to make sure it's... So then we're going to sew that strip onto there. So that is then in turn going to give us this piece here. which is half of what we did. Now with this one, we have a little cutting involved, so I'm going to scooch this aside real quick here. And we are going to cut this. Now it's going to look funny, and I had to second guess myself a couple times, but we are going to line a ruler up to the end, and then we're going to, I just use this line here, and we're going to get this straight there, and then we're going to cut this off, which it's like, oh no, did I do something wrong? But no, we didn't. So then I'm going to take this one, because I'm left-handed, so it makes it a little bit harder to go that way. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make that up on the side. I'm going to make sure that's all good. And then I'm going to cut this piece off. All right. So now we got this piece that looks like we totally did something bad. But we really didn't. And this is why. Because this piece is going to go on next, which is fabric 3. So we're going to put fabric 3 on there next, and we're going to sew that down right there. And then we're going to have a square. I squared it up afterwards, and it tells you how big the square should be, and it squares up really nicely, see? So we're just going to make 12 of those this month. Easy peasy, nothing hard. But again, I give more detailed instructions on block 4. So if you need a little bit more instructions than what I've given you today, go ahead and revisit block 4. Once again, thank you for joining us. I'm Donna DeMarco with Aunties Sewing Kits, and my husband Dan is behind the camera. If you've liked this video, please give us a like and a thumbs up. You can ring my bell and also subscribe so you don't miss an episode for block 9. You believe not, block 9 is coming up. We also have the groundhog quilt done. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's all quilted now too. But we have lots of quilt kits on our site. We also have table runner kits and all kinds of kits. So just come visit the site, check us out. You'll find something you like, I'm sure. All right, well, thank you, and I hope you enjoy your summer.